Hi friends! Hello. Hi. So today we are doing a my thoughts style video again. I know I've been doing a lot of these lately and I feel kind of bad because I feel like I'm just doing too many of them, but a lot of really interesting and problematic is definitely a good word. A lot of things have basically been happening lately that have been leading me to make these videos. So if you guys are sick of them, you can just tell me. But I also feel like it is important to speak on issues that we feel are relevant, and I feel this issue is relevant, so I want to talk about it. Basically today, we're going to be talking, I'm going to start getting ready. Basically, I want to talk about the Gabriel Zamora incident that just shook the internet yesterday. I feel like most people probably know what I'm talking about. I'm going to do a quick recap. I am not the type of channel that provides screenshots or receipts most of the time, unless it's something I haven't seen another channel provide already. I'm going to link some really good videos I thought really covered the situation well. They just had good videos that really fully explained the situation with the screenshots, explaining everything. But basically, yesterday, the foursome of like Gabriel Zamora, Nikita Dragon, Laura Lee, and Manny MUA. And yesterday, Gabriel posted a picture. They all used to be friends with Jeffree Star. That's like the T. In the new series with Shane Dawson and Jeffree, Jeffree definitely did throw some shade at them and was basically inferring that those people were using him to get fame and get money and assumed he would buy them things and like used him to get places. And I think pretty much all of us made the assumption that he was talking about Manny, Laura, Nikita, all those people. Gabriel Zamora yesterday posted a picture of all of them, and they were actually recreating a picture that the Kardashians had taken at Kylie's birthday party, because Manny reposted both of the pictures and they were identical. Like, they were each doing the pose of a Kardashian, the one they like identified with. So that was what I think the mentality of the pose was like, oh, we're gonna make this cute little, like, we're gonna pretend we're the Kardashians and like mimic what they did. I think it was meant to be like something cute. And I say this because I feel like a lot of people thought that like all four of them were throwing shade, but I think it was just Gabriel. I might call him Gabby a few times because that's how I hear him referred to so much. Basically, he reposted that picture of them all flipping off the camera, reposted that, and was like, someone's bitter because we're doing better without him, or something like that. Like, someone's bitter. From one perspective, I can definitely understand why he wanted to clap back, because obviously Jeffree said some really not so great things about him and his friends, and I kind of understand the feeling and the need to like clap back against that. But he didn't like defend himself or say like, oh, that's not true. He took a picture that obviously wasn't meant to be about Jeffree and made it about Jeffree. And I don't know if he told the other three people in the picture he was going to do that, but I'm assuming if I was in that picture, I would really not want that to happen. But anyway, so he did that, and people kind of were like, this is not okay, like, blah, blah, blah. Personally, I thought that first picture, like, it was petty, but I think, and it was shady, and obviously, but I do think that he had the right to post that first picture of him, like, with the caption that he said, because Jeffree basically, in the whole series, was shading all of them. So I think it's petty and stupid, but I understand why he, like, shaded him back or whatever. Like, that first picture was like, okay, and now you've had your fun, like, we get it, you guys are all fine, whatever. But then it got worse. Gabriel Zamora basically tweeted out and was like, imagine standing a racist. Imagine being a fan of a racist. And somebody replied to that and was like, imagine hating someone for something they did 10 years ago or something like that, because most of what we know of Jeffree's racist past is that it all happened 10 years ago. And Gabriel clapped back at that and basically just said, I heard him say racist stuff all the time. He always says racist things. I don't know what you mean by 10 years ago. Like, he is a racist. That's why we stopped being friends with him, because he was racist. He openly says the N-word, all of this stuff. And this is where everything popped off. So I actually used to actively really like his channel. I haven't watched his videos in a while. I don't know why I stopped. I think I just got bored with it or something. But I actually used to really like his videos. I thought he was really funny, and I always thought he kind of deserved more subscribers than he had. The problem I feel with this I have no way to know if what he is saying is true. Like, I just have absolutely no way. Nobody does. None of us have any way of knowing if what he's saying is the truth. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, do you have receipts? I kind of think that's like, I don't know, the whole receipts thing. Of course he doesn't have receipts. Like, of course he didn't record someone who at the time was his friend. More of the issue I have with the situation is the point that at the time he was his friend. If I had somebody in my life who was openly saying those things and I strongly disagreed with them, you can stop being friends with someone. Whether Jeffree said those things is like, it's not even really, I don't want to say it's not the point, because obviously that's a really serious accusation, and obviously that's super messed up if he's still doing that, like if he still talks like that. I would understand Gabriel's need to like explain himself a little bit, I guess. But at the same time, when everything was fine and being friends with Jeffree Star was benefiting you, you had absolutely no problem with that such disgusting behavior. You had no problem with it. And what we later found was, of course, because it's the internet, later tweets came out, old tweets from Gabriel Zamora back from 2012 when he tweeted something and like Instagrammed a picture saying the N-word. So it's like, okay, dude. But also, here's the thing with that though. Is that messed up, and does that make me not want to support him? 100%. And also his apology, which we'll get into in a second, double made me be like, okay, I'm just done with this person. This is something I feel that is really important, and I don't know if everyone's going to necessarily agree with what I'm about to say, but it's just something to think about. I'm seeing a lot of people paint this as like Jeffree Star is this amazing God-like person, and Gabriel Zamora is now like like it seems like they've switched almost. And my problem with this is that one person's racism, one person's bigotry, one person's ignorance, one person's, doing a terrible thing, it doesn't cancel out another person and what they did. So just because Gabriel did something too, that doesn't make Jeffree the hero of this story. And I'm seeing that a lot, where a lot of people are really, I've just seen a lot of people really, suddenly everything's just fine with Jeffree, like that never happened. I don't necessarily think that's the way to go about the situation. I don't think just because Gabriel did something messed up means that suddenly Jeffree didn't do something messed up. They both did messed up things, and they both deserve to be criticized for it. I'm seeing a lot of people who are getting really angry at people for still holding stuff that Jeffree did against him. I talked about this, I was on the Half Cousins podcast, and I talked about how when you do something messed up and you apologize, it's awesome that you've apologized, and it's awesome that you've owned up to what you've done. But in the same breath, you can't get upset with people or angry at people for not forgiving you. If you say something racist, not everyone is going to forgive you, and you just have to accept that. I think the bigger issue I had with the whole situation is not even like the tea with Jeffree Star. It's what happened after the fact and the things we've kind of learned. First of all, you would think if somebody had 5 million subscribers, they would maybe have gone through their Twitter account to make sure they didn't tweet something stupid in 2011 with the amount of Twitter scandals that we've had, especially with social media influencers. Like, you would think maybe they would have gone through their accounts and just kind of deleted everything up to like 2016 or something, when they weren't probably saying offensive things. Like, why is this stuff still on the internet? Because I truly don't know. Here's the problem too, is like, I don't know if these old tweets from these people, so there was the tweet from Gabriel Zamora where he used the N-word, and he apologized, and his apology was so bad. It was so like comically bad that I was so disgusted. He basically pulled the, oh, I was just ignorant to what the word meant. I'm so sick of this argument. Nobody is that ignorant to not know what that word means. You learn about it from such an early age. Like, there's absolutely no reason on any planet that anyone will believe that you didn't know what the N-word meant. Nobody believes that. Stop saying it to those people who keep putting it in their freaking apologies. That's not a valid excuse. That's not a thing. We all know it's not true. I just think his apology was so half-assed and so he just like didn't really care that this all happened. And that to me was really frustrating. The way he said things and the way he tried to explain it was just so dumb. And I was just so over it. And then what's even more troubling is, so because of that picture that we talked about at the beginning, where he posted that picture with all of them flipping off the camera, and made it about Jeffrey, people went snooping through Laura Lee's tweets. And what Laura Lee tweeted, I don't like to do like most offensive or like more offensive, because I think to every person, different things are going to be a different level of offense. Like, it's and both of them were wrong. But Laura Lee had tweeted, I really messed up this brow. Man, that was bad. Laura Lee basically tweeted in 2012, again, another really just like 2012 was not the year for these people. Laura Lee tweeted in 2012 basically something along the lines of, if African American people would pull their pants up, maybe they could run faster from the cops. Which, like, is so stupid and ignorant and projecting so many negative stereotypes. And I could go, the sociology part of me, like the part that studies sociology, could really go on and on and on and on about how absolutely terrible that tweet is for so many reasons. I won't do that because we're not in a college class. We're not trying to bore you guys, but like it grossed me out to such an extent. I've never been a huge supporter of her, but like I'm definitely not going to be now. I just got this freaking palette, my BoxyCharm too, the freaking Laura Lee palette, like of course. Then of course there were tweets that came out from Nikita Dragon. I don't think anything yet has come out about Manny. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if Manny had either gone through and deleted anything offensive, like before any of this happened, just like had done that when he first started gaining subscribers, or if Manny has just never tweeted anything offensive. That's kind of what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if they're going to find something basically on Manny about this, but nothing has come out as I'm filming this video. If more comes out, like let people know in the comments. But as of right now, I've seen nothing to say that Manny has done anything. This whole thing is just such a mess. I'm really confused about why people who are so incredibly problematic are having such success in the industry. It's really frustrating. It almost feels like you've been tricked, because for a lot of people, and I kind of feel this way about Gabriel a little bit because I did like him a lot. I feel like YouTube is so special, and what sets it apart so much is the fact that you're really, like, you feel genuinely close to the people that are talking. And you feel like, almost like, I don't want to say a friend, but it is kind of like a friendship type feeling. Because you talk to these people, a lot of times they'll answer back. Even the people with bigger subscribers will often answer back. And it's almost that feeling of like, it is kind of like a friendshipy feeling. You feel like you know them. Celebrities, like big celebrities, mainstream celebrities, it often feels like they're so untouchable and so out of reach. But these YouTubers, they do tours. You have the option to meet them. You have social media where they're incredibly active, and you have the option to get like spotted by them. They'll answer one of your tweets or something. They feel more attainable and more like a friend. And because they make content so frequently, it's almost kind of like, and it's them. It's not like a TV show where an actor is playing a character. It's them. You think this is them. So I think the reason this is so sad and upsetting is because, and I even me being really small, I get messages all the time, really, really frequently, from people being like, I feel like we're friends. I feel like we're friends. And I just feel like we're sitting down and talking when I'm talking. And I love those messages because I love that you guys like my personality and see my personality and relate to it. And that, you know what I mean? Like, that's such a special thing that social media does. So to find out that people that we felt like we knew, I know realistically it's like, at the end of the day, people are only what they show you online, like obviously. But it still sucks, I think. And I think the reason so many people are kind of upset about this, and then Laura Lee, after her tweets came out, she just went ahead and deactivated her entire Twitter account. She shut it all down. Gabriel Zamora is now on private. I don't know what everyone else is going to do, but to me, it's like, what are you hiding? If you have to just delete your entire Twitter account, maybe it's just like a preventative thing, but like, that's a little extreme. I feel like this is a weird look for me, but I'm just going to go with it. I think this whole thing has been a really challenging thing. And I think it's going to take, I don't know, the best way I know how to sort of think about this is, and I feel like a common argument for people is, well, nobody's perfect. Everybody says things they regret. And that's true. But not everyone has 5 million subscribers and a lot of people that look up to them. And unfortunately, when you choose to live a lifestyle that's in the public eye, and you choose to profit off of a lifestyle in the public eye, because they're not struggling at all. Like, they're majorly profiting off of living in the public eye and off of having social media accounts that are this big. And the payout for that is, if something like this happens, you have to be willing to accept the consequences for that. I'm interested to see what the response will be. Gabriel's apology is just like, that was probably the worst thing. I feel like maybe he doesn't have a PR person helping him, or if he does, he needs to fire that PR person, because, oh my God, was that apology a mess? Like, so bad. But I also feel like I'll be interested to see what Laura Lee puts out. She posted on Instagram that the reason she has a lot to say, and she doesn't want a fake rushed apology. She wants something very real and transparent, and she wants to be able to fully, like, say what she wants to say. I get the argument of, like, it was 10 years. It was in 2012, which was, 6 years ago at this point? I get that mentality of, like, it was 2012, whatever. This is how I see it. Because, and I think a lot of people, I feel the same way about the Jeffrey thing of it being 10 years ago when people say that. In 2012, I was 17. So I was just about to be an adult. I was just about to turn 18, and I was a senior in high school. In 2012, Gabriel Zamora was 19 years old. And in 2012, Laura Lee was 23 years old, which is how old I am right now. I understand it was different times and it was more ignorant times, but at the same time, I don't understand that. At 23 years old right now, I would never dream of posting something that tone deaf and that ignorant on social media of what Laura Lee posted. At 19 years old, I would never dream of using a racial slur in an Instagram caption, an Instagram post. That's not something I think I ever would have thought was acceptable. And I saw some people excusing Laura Lee's behavior and being like, well, she grew up in Alabama. It was a really small town. It was small town. I grew up in a very small town. My graduating class was 69 people. I am well aware of small town mentality, and I am a living, breathing example that you really can be above all of that, because I definitely knew people in high school who were like that, and I definitely knew that that was wrong and not the way to act, and I definitely don't think those people are good people. So I don't think saying, oh, I lived in a small town in Alabama is also a good excuse. In one sense, I want to let people grow, and I understand that people make mistakes, and I don't want to hold something against someone for the rest of their lives without giving them the opportunity to change. But the problem is, especially with what's happening with Jeffrey, it was like, okay, this happened 10 years ago, but we've known that it's been happening for a few years. So we've all been watching and kind of seeing like what this plays out. We just found out that all of this has happened. We just found out that they've tweeted things that were really racially insensitive, racially motivated, racist. So I have not been trying to I felt like it was a safe thing with them. Like I just assumed, I'm the type of person that assumes people are good people until they show me otherwise. And now they have shown me otherwise. So now I really feel like going forward, the only way that I personally, and this is a thing that's like a very personal thing I feel, who you choose to sort of support on social media is a personal decision. But the only thing I will say, and the only thing that I kind of ask, and also what I was talking about on the podcast last night with Georgia and Lacey, the only thing I'm going to ask is that you do research yourself. I don't think anyone should listen to my videos, and I don't think I've ever really discussed this, but I just kind of figured, but I think this is important to know because of some of the things that, like, I got some comments on my last video that really bothered me, and I felt like, do not take my word as 100% fact or 100% truth. All I can speak to you guys and all I can talk to you guys about is my truth and what I think is what's going on. That's all I can say about these things. That does not make them fact. And that doesn't make them like if you still want to support Gabriel Zamora or you still want to support Laura Lee after hearing all the information, that is 100% your decision. All I'm asking is that people become educated on things. Like, maybe learn why what Laura Lee tweeted was so racially insensitive and horrible, because it projected so many negative stereotypes that are already a huge issue. What people are trying to change of what they see in the Black community. I look like I got punched in the eye. That's what this eye look looks like. It's something that's really bothering me. I'm going to go on a quick rant before I put on my lip gloss. This is the most me thing I've ever said, like me. Something I want to say really quick is I'm seeing a lot of like what about isms that are happening. It's something that always frustrates me, the what about question. Like, it's, you say someone did something wrong and they're like, well, what about this? All of the things that have happened are bad. There's no whatabouts to be said. There's no whataboutism. Like, everything that was said by these influencers, by all of them that have been included in this scandal is wrong and is bad. Just because Gabriel said something doesn't mean people can defend him by saying, well, what about Jeffree Star? Because both situations happened and both situations are bad. The whataboutisms are driving me absolutely insane, because it's just like, I just can't deal. I think that's a big issue right now, and I think instead of thinking, well, what about this? What about this? To try to defend your fave, maybe just think, well, everyone did something wrong, but I'm going to choose to support who I want to support no matter what. Like, stop trying to... I think the biggest problem I have here, too, is because I think Gabriel really thinks he was trying to do the right thing. If what he's saying about Jeffree is true, I think he thinks he was trying to, like, expose some sort of truth about him. But at the end of the day, we don't know if what he's saying is true or if it's filled with spite, because he said it after Jeffree had already shaded him, and he co-signed that behavior when it was benefiting him. So it's really, really a weird time to bring something like this up, especially when everyone is talking about Jeffree Star right now and you know it's going to get you a lot of clout. Congratulations for like me and all the other drama channels and all the other commentary channels talking about you, because I feel like that's maybe what you wanted. But at the same time, like, I'm going to talk about things like this. I'm going to talk about the injustices that I see happening. That's just what I'm going to do. So yeah, those are my thoughts on everything that has been happening lately. I probably missed some stuff that I wanted to say, but that's okay. I just feel like let's go forward in this and think about things from a perspective of just education instead of a perspective of like, let's clap back and shade and all that. Like, let's just try as a community, especially as a beauty community, because I really am getting concerned, because the beauty community, especially with the bigger influencers we have right now, is really turning into not so beautiful. It's really becoming a really negative, gross place. I really want to find people who are up and coming and just kind of try to push them forward and propel them upwards a little bit more, because right now I am really not happy with who is representing a community that I'm a part of. And I don't really think a lot of us are very happy with the way that the beauty community is being represented right now, because it doesn't represent us. Not all people that apply makeup or love makeup, not all makeup lovers have these types of histories. And I just want to, like, I don't know how to change it, though, because, like, you can't take away someone's subscribers. You can't, you know what I mean? But I also think I know my little act is going to be not watching them anymore, because I don't agree with what they represent for this community. And I want to change that. So, yeah, those are all my thoughts, I guess. I love you guys so much. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. I'm honestly just so happy you're watching. Follow me on Twitter, because I've been trying to really push the Twitter lately. It's linked in my bio. All of my makeup that I'm wearing will be linked down below, as well as like my Patreon, and I have some other stuff down there. And I'm trying to think of anything else. I just love you guys. Thank you. If you have any comments on the situation, please leave them down below. I love reading the comments on videos, and I love being able to see what you guys have to think about this. I'm very interested what you guys have to think about this situation. So yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye!